I know people listening to this are probably going to think, they hear that you drained your 401k, you maxed out credit cards, you did all this, even though you had the sales. What was that like? How do you get over the mental hurdle of, wow, I'm really putting it all literally to the limit, credit cards, draining all excess cash? Did you have mental hurdles with that? And if so, how did you make peace with doing such a move outside of just, hey, I think it's going to work? How do you really make peace with that? Because I think a lot of people would really have a hard time, when push comes to shove, draining everything and going for it like that.
So I was in the Marine Corps infantry. It was really, really tough. I then was a firefighter. I've seen dismemberments, I've seen decapitations, I've seen burned babies, I've seen everything you can imagine. Nothing has affected me and my mental health more significantly than being an entrepreneur. It is the most challenging, the most difficult thing. And the first thing someone told me, and it's the greatest advice I give anybody else, is you have to have a tremendous amount of grit to survive as an entrepreneur. There is no handbook. There is no big company like Eli Lilly where we've got 100 years of experience to learn from and 20,000 people that are all absolute studs. I was amazed at Eli Lilly. All the people I work with, every one of them was a stud. When I started my business, it was like the Bad News Bears. The only people I could afford early on were people that had a lot of heart, but they didn't have the talent that I needed. So to your point, the first thing is you got to understand that you got a mission. There's only one way an entrepreneur can fail, and that is to quit. Every single problem that the entrepreneur encounters is solvable if you're willing to do what it takes to solve it, which is refinancing your house, maxing out your credit cards, doing the sacrifices of traveling. I traveled 150 nights on average a year for about 6 consecutive years. I cannot tell you all the things that I missed and the what it does to your body and just your lack of sleep and your bad food habits and drinking too much when you're on the road and all those type of things. But that's the sacrifice you have to put in. And there's a saying that goes, entrepreneurs live a few years of their life like nobody else can imagine. So they live the rest of their life like nobody else could. Well, yesterday I spent all day on the beach with my toes in the water doing work in my basically front yard. And that's the result of all that hard work that I had to put in before there. But it is unbelievably difficult. I cannot stress that enough. And if you're not willing to go all in and make those commitments, then you shouldn't be an entrepreneur.